A very good evening from the Upper River region. We're still on the consultation with the people, of course, using the opportunity to as well interact with the duty bearers. And in this episode, we're talking to the governor of the Upper River region, Mr. Sambaba. We're going to talk to him about the Technical Advisory Committee and as well the town hall meeting that happened here a few days ago. My name is Fatih Ali Kamalushi, your host for the Open Governance Initiative. Mr. Ba is already here with us and he's seated. You're welcome to the OGI, Mr. Governor.
Thank you very much, Fatu. Nice for having you here in Upper River region.
Very well. Let's first of all start the conversation by asking how you are overseeing development projects in your region and what has been the most fascinating for your people.
Thank you very much. As I said earlier, the development programs and projects that are in Upper River region, as you alluded to, are so fascinating as far as the people are concerned, because you can only gauge it from the reaction of people. And because of the reaction of the people, you will know that definitely people are excited about the numerous development projects that the government of the Gambia is doing in Upper River region. Just to give you an example, like today, it used to be a problem when you cross the River Gambia to the northern part of Upper River region. Getting to Yerobawol was always a problem. And today, looking at the road, the magnificent road that has been just completed in Upper River region, it has eased transportation and connect the north and then the south. And as we all know also, the construction of the bridge is in high gear, is about to be completed. Within a couple of months, we will see the connection being completed between the north bank of the river and then the south bank of the river as far as Upper River region is concerned. And not only that, you also see other things that are also almost like completed in the region, like looking at the Basse College. We all know some years ago what used to happen is the people of Upper River region, most precisely, and in addition to Central River region, used to go to the Birkama, what we call campus, Gambia College, to attend their higher teacher certificate and the primary teacher certificate, and also the early childhood development, that's the ECD. And now today, looking at it now, the college has been extended to Upper River region. It is now becoming a thing of the past where the people who completed school in the Upper River region, instead of traveling all the way, almost like 300, 400 kilometers to the Combo area to attend to higher or tertiary education, they can now stay in Upper River region and then at least have their diplomas and advanced diplomas being completed here. And also, the most fascinating is they will be also posted in the region. So you see the teacher shortage now will be a thing of the past in the next 1 or 2 years to come, because by then the first batch of the college have been at least graduated. And even with that, even without being graduated, they are even like going in for what we call teaching practice. And even the teaching practice that they are going to do in the region, because they will remain in the region, is going to address the teacher problem. Because we know it used to be like the student ratio to a teacher used to be very high. But today, honestly, with the coming of the college in Upper River region and some of the students going on teaching practice in Upper River region, it has what we call ease of what we call the burden. And even you see the other part, because I interacted with some people when I asked them what they will tell me. They say people will go to the college, after closing they will go back to their families, meaning they will be able to help their parents in other domestic works that their parents used to do what we call during Saturdays and even on Sundays. So these are some of the things that are very, very listed. And then the most notable one is looking at Basse Fatoto Road going up to Koina. Okay. You know, it used to take people like 4 hours. And knowing the distance is almost like what we call 52 kilometers. But how can it take you 4 hours, 3 hours of a journey? And in fact, in the rainy season, it becomes a problem. But today, going through the road, you will see what we call a lot of differences. And in fact, they have started what we call applying the asphalt. And then, you know, they have gone as far and in fact, you know, up to Sare Alpha, beyond Sare Alpha. It means that they've now entered Kantora, and Kantora is the last district of the region. So meaning in the next 3 months, there is that high hope that in fact the construction of the Basse Fatoto Road is going to finish. And yes, and when all these things happen, is going to address a lot of issues in Upper River region, which I think we will discuss.
It looks like the transportation needs of your people, the educational needs are being addressed at this point in time. How would you've been in this, of course, this village for a very long time, I'm sure. How would you gauge project interventions now, maybe for the last 3 to 4 years compared to before then?
Today, projects are owned, by the people. Because when you looked at it, most of the projects that normally come to the regions now, is the people who own them, and at the same time also the monitoring aspect of it also is being done properly. Because, just to tell you, there is no project that is happening in this region which is not having a steering committee, what we call a body that is responsible. That will be meeting every month to make sure that at least you go to the sites and see how progressive the work is, whether there is a delay or whether there is progress or whether they are doing it in such a way that it's not in line.
And who sets up the steering committee?
Yeah, the steering committee, you're going to see like the governor's office is part of it, because like the steering committee is holistic. Because sometimes you have to understand that most of these projects are under a ministry. Right. And if it is under a ministry, the permanent secretary of that ministry is part of the steering committee. And sometimes you have to understand, as I always say, our ministries are cross-cutting. Sometimes there are certain areas, for example, the market. If you look at the market, you have what we call the Ministry of Works, where the permanent secretary is being represented by the deputy, what we call permanent secretary. And every month we normally meet the first Thursday of a month that we meet. And the PS for local, what we call governments and land, is also represented. Then the office of the governor, as the governor also is also there. Then the area council, for instance, because like they are going to be the beneficiaries of the project, they are also represented. So you see that steering committee meeting, you see, before even we sit for a discussion, we will go to the site, go for a site visit, go around and see how the construction, and we will also post certain issues or questions that we feel that we need clarification, then come back to the drawing board, to the table, then we will be able to discuss, to say, this is what we have seen, what is happening, and then it will include even the contractors and those who are responsible of the work.
So you've put effective monitoring mechanisms on all these different projects.
Exactly.
It's important because when we went across, we realized that there are a lot of projects in the region, just like other regions that we've visited as well. And that is very much welcoming. How important the Technical Advisory Committee has been in your supervision of the different projects implemented by the different directorates.
Yeah, you see, looking at the role of the governor, because like the governor is responsible of day-to-day administration of the region, but again the governor also oversees all other what we call institutions in this region. So you see, the monetary aspect of the governor will always make the heads of institutions who are part of the TAC to be able to be responsible and do what they are expected and responsible of doing. So you will see what is going to happen. For instance, if there is a project in agriculture, like for example, so the Directorate of Agriculture at regional level will be responsible. But you see, I will be monitoring, by engaging him as to what are some of the things that are happening, and not stopping at my office level, but I will also leave the office and go to the sites to see. So that at the end of the day, this will give me, an idea, a holistic, what we call idea, as to what is happening in case we have what we call our quarterly reports or meetings. Right. Because every 3 months, the TAC is mandated to meet and then discuss what are your activities in the past 3 months. And now, for me to have a balance of what is happening, it's always important for me to go out first and check, so that at the end of the day, you will not give me any false report. Whenever you are reporting, I will be able to know exactly, yes, what you have said is true, or there are certain things that are supposed to be put in the report, they are not in the report.
And has that yielded any dividends in your supervision and allocation of resources as well?
Yeah,
or the deploying of people, in fact, at these different project interventions?
Yeah, it has paid dividends, honestly. It has paid dividends because whenever you monitor people, and then you don't only go and monitor them, but what you always what we call share with them, your expertise and what you believe what you call should be done. You see, there are certain people, when you tend to monitor them, they think that it is a witch hunt, and it's not a witch hunt.
It's part of the process.
Yes, it is a part of a process. So therefore, if you are monitoring, try to make sure that let the person understand that you are monitoring to close gaps. Because you see, we have to understand as Gambian, the Gambia government is injecting a lot of money and then into these projects. So we should not try to make sure that the project fails. So therefore, it should be responsibility of each and every one of us to make sure that at least what is expected of us, we do it to the fullest, because we owe it to the people. And I always say, these are the people who pay tax, and we have to, what we call, reciprocate the tax that they pay to their people in order to change their lives and livelihood. This is exactly what normally, what we call, we do. So that's why sometimes I always say, yes, this is why I am somebody whom you know that whenever we have our TAC meeting, immediately after the TAC meeting, I will call the whole TAC members and even those who are working within the units or institution. Then we will have what we call, a get-together where we will now sit, interact, and we try to, in fact, remedy some of the problems that we have seen. And that will bring close collaboration, because sometimes you see, I am trying to run away from where you have an institution where people are divided. Because the moment people are divided in an institution, it will hinder the work progress of that particular institution.
Very well. So these quarterly meetings have been very much important. I mean, it's necessary as well that you're keeping track of what you're doing. Would you say you were able, these quarterly meetings were also very important in also sending a signal in terms of the constraints and challenges that the different projects are facing, especially looking at geographically where the area is located?
Yeah, I think these are some of the, I think I love that, in fact, question that you raise, because whenever we meet at our quarterly meetings, we look at our progress and but we also look at the challenges that we face. And one of the issues that we normally face is, like, most of the people will tell me, if not all institutions will tell me, transportation. Because looking at the nature of the region, because as I said earlier, we are in the north and we are in the south. And then you have what we call, almost like there are some remote areas where you even have what we call projects. Because we need not to leave any community behind. Every community in the Gambia is important as far as development is concerned. So therefore, getting to those communities as civil servants, as public servants or workers, is like becomes very, very challenging. Very soon, the issue of road will be a thing of the past. But now, having vehicles now for institutions also. But just to tell you, few institutions have benefited, because like social welfare, they got a new vehicle. We have been crying for that, but thank God the ministry responded, and Ministry of Local Government and Lands also responded just recently by giving physical planning. Knowing the nature of physical plan and the work of physical planning, it is everywhere. So therefore, for them having a vehicle to reach to the smallest village if there are developments taking place, so that they will control the development structural aspect of it. Because if not, if you don't control it, people may go and build substandard houses that may lead to what we call problem.
Very well. We'll put a pause to that. And I'm already glad that you're aware of some of these constraints, because we did speak to your people and they've highlighted some of those. But what we'll do now is we'll go straight to watching some of the interviews that our team conducted during the town hall meeting, and hear from the people themselves what they think about the town hall meeting and some of the issues that they're confronting with at the regional level.
We are civil servants serving the public. We are tasked with the responsibility of the development process of the region. Our participation is very much crucial. I know that actually if you are entrusted with resources, you should be ready to be accountable. So the forum is an opportunity where we interact with stakeholders. We explain to them the resources that were given to us, how were they utilized. That's number one. Two, it is a good thing because we are interacting with the beneficiaries. During the process, their problems will be highlighted. Our shortcomings also will be highlighted so that we can, in future, capitalize on that and try to, reorientate, our activities to the satisfaction of the voters, to the satisfaction of the farmers. So it's a very good forum, that should be done on a regular basis. It's an eye-opener for every civil servant, because at the end of the day, a day will come when you will be asked about what you've been doing to the electorate. So actually, it's a wake-up call for all of us to say we cannot be in our backyards doing things that are not known to the public. So it's something, that will rekindle the zeal, the commitment of the civil servants so that, they can serve better the electorate.
You see, any sector that want to progress and want to succeed in whatever you are doing, you should be ready for transparency and accountability. So for today, holding the stakeholders accountable to our taxpayers is a very important day to us as a council. This program is very significant, and because it is holding us accountable will help us to watch our steps in whatever we are doing. And we make sure that we are here as area council, we are here for the taxpayers. We should make sure that the taxpayers enjoy the value for their money. And in doing so, we should be ready for the taxpayers to hold us accountable, how we manage the tax we collect from them. So therefore, this day today is very valuable to us as managers of area council. You see, in the past, maybe so many institutions have lost trust, especially the area councils. So for stakeholder accountability, for councils or for stakeholders to hold departments to be accountable will build trust and confidence in those departments. More so and more importantly, for council to regain the trust that has been lost, from them. So this stakeholder, engagement will bring trust and confidence between councils and their taxpayers. So it's a very important day for councils.
Well, I describe this ism as an achievement in the sense that stakeholders are now being shown what the service providers are providing for them. And as a result of that, they will be able to pick out the gaps and the strengths for the service providers also to improve on their plans and implementation of activities, which is for the benefit of the populace. Those who are responsible of implementing activities or responsible of funding, with this forum, they will be extra careful that now the people whom we are serving will one day come to know what we are doing. And in that case, they may ask any question which is relevant to the activities implemented in their areas. Yeah, my suggestion is let us not wait until the post-evaluation, that's after implementation. But as we are involving the stakeholders at this point, which is an accountability, let us also involve them to present the plans we have for the year for them. So they will know, and there they will know what would be their role in implementing those plans. So that at the end of the day, the evaluation will be a comprehensive one. There will be no stone left unturned.
Welcome back to the Open Governance Initiative. My name is Fatu Eli Kamalushi, the presenter for this program. And like I said, we're in the Upper River region having a conversation with the governor of the region, Mr. Sambaba. We are talking about the Technical Advisory Committee, but also consultations that we had with the people during the town hall consultation meeting. And also some sites that we visited would also look at some of those as well. We're here at his residence. As you can see, it's already past working time. And now we're talking about some of those issues here. And Governor is still with me. We just saw what happened at the consultation, town hall meeting, you call it. And our team was there to talk to the people who were there attending this town hall meeting. Tell us from your own perspective, how important is engaging your people in the development process?
It's important to engage our people in the development process because I think they are the people that we should develop. So if you are developing an individual to change life, I think it's important to start with him. So that is why I was so happy when this, the public service engaging with the communities and having a very, very, what we call fruitful discussion. You know, it was the first of its kind as far as I am concerned, because I even said it at the meeting. Looking at some of the things that when we reported, because like what we did was, we just tried to highlight on what we have discussed at TAC, because we wanted them to assess us. We wanted them to look at what have we done in the past, what we call 3 months. And after looking at what we have done in the past 3 months, because most of the things that, if not all, the things that we said there, we said apart from the training, and even with the training, we did it with them. So now we wanted them to come and tell us, yes, exactly, this is what you have done. Oh, no. I think you said this one, but it's not in line. This has not happened in this community. Because that was why we covered the whole region. So covering the whole region, when they came, they were able to at least outline, to say, yes, these are all activities that are happening. But again, there were others who came in to say, look, what we call, water projects. Because like you see, the water project is ongoing in the region. And there are other communities that are having a borehole dug in their place, going to be dig in their place, and others are going to be clustered. But because maybe the others that are going to be clustered, they have not seen people digging borehole in their area, they started what we call to question. And then, it was very clear to them.
So now it's been clear to them.
Yes, exactly. They were told, now the borehole is going to be dug in one community, but now the water is going to extend to other communities. And this was something that maybe they did not know exactly, because they were told that borehole is going to be dug in 3 communities, and they said cluster, but the cluster in there is what they don't understand. So, but like the meeting there was able to at least open up, and they were able to understand and say, in fact, they appreciate it. Because at the end of the day also, others even believe that where the borehole is going to be dig is that community is going to own the borehole. And that was why it created some form of what we call noise in the region. Others even started to come to the office of the governor. But what happened after this town hall, what we call meeting with the communities, they were able to understand it clearly.
So you see, public officials should not shy away from dialogue. It's important because you've already mentioned the water part, which of course they've also lamented. And when you talk about the farming as well, of course we're aware of the fact that most of them here, especially the women as well, depend on farming to sustain their livelihoods. And most of them are looking forward to expansion, but also irrigation facilities.
Yeah, in fact, that one too was mentioned. And, there was also one thing that I want to articulate here and make it very clear. It's about the notion. You see, it was in that meeting that I realized. You see, people fail to understand that the projects that are the donor-driven projects that are coming is under the Gambia government. The Gambia government normally go and negotiate what we call all those projects and bring them in the Gambia. But in fact, we realize that there are people who will say that this is not the Gambia government. This is, for example, this is NEMA. It's the NEMA project. So let nobody, associate NEMA project with the Gambia government.
And it's actually under a ministry.
Exactly. And, at the end of the day, it was very clear. So the director of agriculture was there to tell them that, look at it, these are just projects that are coming. But you have to understand that some of these projects, they are even what we call loans that the Gambia government is going to pay, our children are going to pay. There are some of these projects, it is the government that lobbies and they become what we call a grant. So, but because of the name saying this one, because people are used to saying projects is from this area, they tend to sideline what we call government, not knowing that it is government that was able to lobby these projects for them to come. So this was also something that was very, very clear. So the other interesting thing that was talked about, and I know this one has been an issue in this region, is the electricity aspect.
Of course.
Of it.
I was going to say that in my next question because we've been here for like 2 days already, and I can tell you already, the electricity supply here is indeed erratic, and the people have a point.
Yeah, but let me tell you, this is something that the government of the Gambia is aware. This is something that the president himself is aware, and the managing director of NAWEC is also aware. I am in constant communication with what we call MD Nani Juara, or if not on a daily basis even.
Have they started doing anything?
Yeah, because you know what happened? We were having like what we call 2 generators and so, but one of the generator is having a breakdown, and right now they are trying to fix the part. In fact, the agreement was before even the beginning of Ramadan, they are going to fix the part. And also, the other problem also is knowing the heat, the temperature level of Upper River region. It is also affecting, and then the usage of electricity in Upper River region. Because right now, as we speak, the amount of load on the electricity is so high.
Why is that?
Yeah, because one is the heat. Everybody want to get a cold place. You want to drink something cold. You want to be under an AC or whatsoever. So all these things are factors.
The high demand.
Yes, what we call the high demand.
And you believe that NAWEC's explanation of the generators being faulty due to the high demand as well is indeed justifiable?
That aspect of it I can justify, because you see, when you look at the load, if the load is too high on the generator, what normally happens, it drips. Now you see that one, electricity will go off. And that was the time I even called the manager And what the manager, in fact, was telling me was they have to switch off other areas and allow other areas to play on, because right now the load on that particular generator is higher than the generator.
All right.
But they are working on the second generator, so that at the end of the day, that one will now what we call supplement or complement the other one. Then they will be able to
and
supply.
And you're doing all you can to push it.
We are pushing to make sure that before Ramadan, we have the
Ramadan
19 hours electricity, not the 24 hours that one, but the 19 hours electricity.
We'll keep track as well, and we'll see whether Nawek will do exactly that. And Governor is being optimistic.
No, honestly.
But aside the irrigation issue that the women complained about, I mean, the supply of water as well is more or less a cross-cutting issue. If you go to households, in fact, just this morning in the bathroom, we faced that challenge as well. So how are you engaging the same Nawek on the same issue?
You know, electricity and and water are connected, because it is the electricity that will help you to pump what we call the water. So if there is intermittent on and off of electricity, you don't expect also the water also to be stabilized.
Is Nawek giving the same explanation for this?
Yeah, they are giving, but like there was a time the borehole, the tank has a problem. You know, we have what we call 2 tanks here. So, but then the other tank in Basel layout has a problem, but they're using only 1 tank. And looking at also, there was a time too, the tank also had a problem. And until that one, I had to engage. In fact, they had to send people at night from Combo to come here, and they were able to fix it. So, but when I call, what they would tell me is water and electricity are connected. So if the electricity supply is not regulated, then we don't expect also to have electricity, water also in full gears. So that is why sometimes also the water also, you have what we call intermittent on and off of water because of the electricity. So this is also something that they also talked about, and we are also following. We are trying to, like, as I said, now everybody is putting his cameras on Nawek to make sure that at least things are solved. Honestly, I know, I can feel it with the people. I know how eager they are to make sure that these problems are solved.
Let's also talk about mechanization as well. Of course, a lot of farming activities are currently, unfolding, but we have to also look at how we can give them sustainable ways of going about their production, but at the same time, how to improve the value chain so that they would, of course, see a reason for continuing what they do and their livelihoods would be improved as well.
Yeah, that's why I said, if you look at, in fact, nowadays, the agricultural system that is happening in this country and Upper River region is no exception, is the value chain. Because the agricultural system has to be complete. That is, whenever you, what you call from production, what you call up to processing. So that's the value chain. So that is why the NEMO project and then the agricultural value chain project and even the roots project that is now coming is here to address that. That is why it is even supposed to address what we call the marketing aspect of it, which sometimes we now what we call tend to ignore. Because when you produce and you don't have a market, it becomes a problem. But also when you don't finish it and then you process it, also if you cannot exhaust it, I think it's important that we also ship it outside for other people also to benefit. So all these projects we have right now are here to address that what we call problem in
Very well. You've
country.
just mentioned a few of the points that we'll have to talk about after this short break, because right about now we're going to go straight to watching this video of the different sites that we've visited across the URL, different project intervention sites we've visited. We're going to look at that, and when we come back, we'll of course gauge the impression of the governor on these different projects. Stay with us.
With his family. It's only one person, that's the man Babukar Jawla. He's our deputy farm manager.
Okay.
The one you are seeing here is our farm manager Alhaji Maudo Suso, but we have cultivated almost 40 beds. Well, this almost the half of it has already started selling. This is the remaining of his produce.
And he's selling it nicely.
Nicely, yeah. But our main problem is marketing. If the Ministry of Trade and Employment can send customers to us so that we can sell our produce. Without the marketing, it will discourage us to work, because you cannot work at the later part. You find difficult to sell your products. So this is a thing that we are facing. It's a big challenge for us, and we are appealing to the Ministry of Trade so that they can come and help us. So that we are in the month of Ramadan, so taking this is very good, because the last consignment that normally come from Europe, we can say that those are expired, but these are real ones. It's an organ this thing. Okay. You don't put chemicals there.
Briefly tell us about the center, what you do, and how beneficial it has become for the young people.
Actually, Julangel was built in 1996 by the then government, and then later in 2016, GDTI took over, and we start training in 2018 to 2019. We graduated a badge. And this year, we also start training again, like with 200 students we have in the campus here on different trade areas. Normally, we have welding and fabrication, carpentry, auto mechanic, that's also small engines if you like, and plumbing, and horticulture. We have electrical insulation and refrigeration and air conditioning. These are the programs that we offered here for youths from 15 years to 35 years age bracket. And these are very important skills for the youths. It is well designed for the youths to get hands on it. Our training duration is normally 9 months nowadays, 6 months, 9 months. It depends. Now we do train some students who have gone to school and who are dropouts, and then we also train people who have not gone, youths who have not gone to school. Some of them who have gone to Arabic schools, we also include them in the training package. Yeah.
Going forward, what are the challenges that you will want to be looked at?
The challenges normally we have here it is accommodation. Accommodation is a big challenge here. We normally want to enroll as much as students we have, but we are limited to a number because this is due to accommodation problems. Like the students will be enrolled, but they would not have place to stay, where they can live, where they can have their food and other things. It's always a problem at the center here. So this is a very, very big challenge. We are also looking up to see if we can have a dormitory. At least that would ease the problem. And the other thing is that tools and equipment. Training is definitely difficult, especially a skill, training. It involves a lot of, materials, and materials are really very costly. So that is also a part of the problem. Actually, I am urging, the parents and the youths, to take up skills very seriously, because this is the only thing that, you have on your own. If you are skillful, you'll be able to do a lot of things on your own. Yeah, it is even more better than risking your life going through, the back way. I think, whoever comes here with the back way syndrome that was in you is gone out. Whenever you start training here, at the end of the training, you'll never think of going to the back way. The center is really known for that, actually. Yes.
My name is Peter Balde. I'm working for the Agricultural Value Chain Development Project. Right now here we are at Sotuma Samba, one of the project's intervention site. And the project is intervening in 5 villages in the region. And this village, particular village, is Sotuma Samba. And the intervention area hectareage is 50 hectares. And where we are is the source of water at the river, where you have the installations of the pump house and the pumping machine, and also the main canal that is irrigating water to the field within some meters from the river.
Why are we making use of the River Gambia?
In rice production, particularly, as you may know, that we want to be producing rice all year round, so water is a major factor. So we need to irrigate. As you know, in the Gambia, we have only 4 months of rainfall, and water is very crucial in production, particularly in the agricultural sector. So this is a source of water, and making sure that the water is available right through the year, and then we can have 2 crops per year. That's the reason.
Welcome back to the OGI. My name is Fatu Eli Kamiloshi. Still with us here is the governor of the Upper River region, Mr. Sambaba. And of course, we're left up at looking at some of the constraints that the people have been talking to us about. And the governor has pretty much answered most of the questions, including the question of electricity and water, which is, of course, a major concern for the people, the transportation as well. And we've just seen the video of the sites that we visited, and we started off at Kundam. And Kundam there is a very beautiful garden, Governor, and they have a variety of crops that they produce in there. But some of their constraints, like you briefly said, you are aware of, is the access to markets, right? And I'm pretty sure that some other projects are very much keen about, improving the market access. How is that coming along?
Yes, I'm so glad that you visited the Kundam Garden, and the Kundam Garden is a youth farm. It's owned by the young people of Upper River region. And looking at the farm, it's so big that it can at least accommodate many young people in this region that will at least engage in horticultural gardening, and at the same time also help them meet all their economic needs. Yes, I myself visited the Kundam Garden, and when I was there, I was so amazed. But as I said, in as much as we have the Roots project, and that is here to help in what we call horticultural garden and whatsoever, I believe is going to address. Because what is happening is, I have started what we call identifying some of the areas, particularly on horticulture, where women are engaged, and definitely they need assistance, so that I can also submit some of those things, because I can only make recommendations because they know how the project looks like and what is going to, where it is going to intervene.
Right.
But I will make my recommendation on this thing. But you see, another constraint that we are facing is, I think, in as much as it's a garden for young people, why can't the young people also try to make sure they face that garden?
Because this is one of the issues that they've put to us.
Yes.
That, it's for young people.
Yes.
But most of we saw young people, of course, but most of the, the managers there are the older people.
Exactly.
And it looks like the young people are not pretty much coming forth. But would you say that is also linked to the inaccess to markets?
Yeah, but looking at Kundam here and looking at the Basse market, it's not far. Yeah, it could be a factor because they are the people who are doing it and then they know some of the problems that they are facing. But looking at the Kundam garden is right on the highway to Fatoto. And then immediately after the bridge, you are in the Kundam garden. It is not up to what we call 15 kilometers from the Basse market. And looking also at the nature of Upper River region, we have a lot of lumos where they can go. Yes, I understand that access could be a problem. And then these are some of the things that we are trying to look at. And then the project, the construction of the road now is going to address the problem because it's just like after harvesting your produce, just come to the road, pick a vehicle and go to the market. Now, the thing that we are thinking about and then is also in the pipeline is to make sure that we have what we call storage facilities, cold stores, where they can also keep their produce.
But just to wrap it up, you mentioned how the building of the roads would, of course, solve some of these inaccess that we talked about. We've also visited the bridge, the Basse Wuli Bridge, which is also coming up, and I'm pretty sure it will soon be launched. When do we expect this to be launched? Do we know exactly? Because I'm really concerned about timelines.
Yeah, I think just to give you a time frame, because I cannot tell you exactly this particular day is going to be launched. But we're expecting around July, July, August.
We're already in April.
Yes, around July, August. We are quite sure that even the road, this road, Basse Fatoto Road, is going to be launched.
Okay.
Yes,
we look
honestly.
forward to that as well.
Thank
We
you.
also visited Julangel, a very interesting center, of course, into TVET, which I believe is very important in a community like Basse. And they have different facilities there. They have different departments there. But they've mentioned accommodation is also an issue for them because most of their students are traveling from different districts and some are coming from different regions. Is this something that the governor's office did take up with the school, or are you in fact not aware of this?
No, you see, all the things that you've said here, I am aware because I am somebody who try to be on top of issues. That's why when I was asked to this thing, I said Julangel was a concern because I know if you look at it, one is going to address the problem of youth unemployment that is taking place in this country because Julangel Skill Training Center is training different what we call areas. So therefore, if it is taken up what we call seriously, it's going to address the problems of youths just sitting down without what we call doing any other thing. And you will see again, they will work for themselves. Because like here, what is important, before you work for somebody, I think it's better for you to be empowered to work for yourself. But alongside, there are problems. And then, as you said, accommodation is a problem. And transportation, though it's not far from Mankamang, but I think we will also try to see how best, even if they are to have a feeder road that goes right up inside, that will be also good. And then for accommodation, I think we can knock the doors of maybe MRC Holland. We can engage with what we call education, the higher education, and then other institutions to make sure that they we see how best we can help them with accommodation. Because if you are on the apprenticeship, I think it's always important for you to have, because like your strength will not be that much because you are on the apprenticeship. So therefore, it is important that certain necessities, are provided, and accommodation is one of them. Because by the time you exhausted on your training, you have to get a place where you rest, and this is something that we need to what we call pick up. And I think
also have a horticultural center
there, very well,
and the irrigation is also another issue there.
Yeah.
So these are things that
But I think looking at the irrigation aspect of Julangel is quite overwhelming, because compared to other vegetable gardens, because the irrigation system is perfect and it is supplying. That's why even if you look at the nature of the garden, it looks green. Everywhere.
It's very beautiful,
yes,
but
exactly.
they want to expand
Yes.
as well.
So the expansion aspect of it, yes, as I said, we have the projects coming now rolling down to Upper River region, and we will address it. And I think before we end, I will not do justice if we don't talk about the market too. I think I did not even talk about the market.
No,
that was
it was going to be my last point.
Okay.
Because I wanted to reserve the best for the last, actually. We were going to come to the market, actually. We did a lot of filming in that place just to capture all the different areas we have. But also, I'm pretty much interested about Julangel, because it is a way that we can also tap into our homegrown talents.
Exactly.
I mean, these people are being trained on different disciplines, but they need the tools, they need the equipment. I mean, the manager there did tell us that they work in collaboration with GTTI, and they're very much forthcoming with providing them with some of the facilities. But still, they need to be pushed, and they really need the tools so that they can give the students the best that is needed. And I mean, that for me is very much fascinating. And we also visited the Mankamankunda Agricultural Center, and we've seen the work that they're doing there and how they're trying to, experiment different species and different products just to make sure that we have varieties in our production. And I think all of these are forthcoming, but the irrigation is important also, and also the markets are very much necessary.
Yeah, you see, you're always talking about the irrigation aspect. You see, when you start something, you always think of what you call expansion.
Of course.
And if it is successful in this way, it means that you want to expand. And in the expansion also, the way you brought the first one, you have to think again faster in order to expand so that at least others also will fit in.
Okay.
And these are all things that you know that at least the government is aware of, and then the governor's office too here is also aware of. Okay. Because we cannot only allow a smaller area to be at least to be cultivated, and we've seen definitely the progress of that one, and we are not thinking of even expansion for others also, because the more you expand, the more people also come on board to work in that particular area. Okay. So for the irrigation, be rest assured, irrigation also have to expand.
Very
and
well.
It will be sorted out.
Good. Agriculture is a major part of this
yes.
region, and so we have to really dissect the matters
exactly,
here.
Exactly.
But just to wrap it up before we go, yes, we visited the reconstruction of the Basse market. It's massive. It's a huge project undertaken in such a short period of time. Tell us, how is that coming forth, and what was the investment? How much of it went into that market?
When you look at the market, I always say this. I said, if the market, you know, sometimes when God is about to do something very good, it must create something else. I said it just 2 days ago. I said, if the people of Basse were told that now we have to demolish the market and construct, it would have been a push and pull. Because some people will say that, no, that's our livelihood, that's where we get our living and so on. But you see, God came in the other way around. And you see, now that the construction is taking place, just to tell you, the construction of the market is pure government. In fact, that's the beauty of it. It's pure government. It is not funds that are borrowed. It's not about what we call a grant or whatsoever. It's all coming from the central government.
Do we know how much went into it?
Very close to 100 million.
Close to 100 million?
Yes.
And how many people are going to benefit from this?
You see, I understand very well that many people are going to benefit from it, because even right now, the first plan was we have what we call only 2 sets, different from the stores. But now we've also we've discussed with the Ministry of Works and also the contractors, and they've agreed even to add without even the expense of even government.
Interesting.
Yes, they decided to add another 2 sets. That is going to, so you see, that alone is going to again add another one. And you see, every set there is that tendency of taking almost like what we call 50 or 55. So having it up to 4, that's too much. And also we have the stores that are coming up to 300 stores. So different from maybe the tables that are going to be there. So that is why if you look at the market right now, I always say it's going to be an international trading center or market.
Looks like a mall to me
yes,
already.
exactly. Because looking at the nature of Basse, you know, Basse is open to the other parts of the world, particularly in West Africa. So, and then we have different nationalities in Basse. And all of these people are businessmen. So completion of the market, what we call of the market, coupled with what we call the stores around within the vicinity of market, is going to create a lot of business for Upper River region and for the Gambia and even what we call for Basse Area Council.
Do we know when this might be done, the work?
The work, the work in 2 months' time, the work is going to be completed.
They're almost done. They're painting
yes,
already. We
fact.
saw that.
So I know that in 2 months' time, the inauguration is going to take place for the market.
Very well.
Because like initially they said what we call 8 months, but like they are below that.
Okay.
In fact, it's going to be completed before even the 8th month.
Yeah.
So that alone shows the commitment of the contractors, the commitment of the Gambia government, and then the commitment of the steering committee, and even what we call the council. Just like we cannot do this in isolation with council.
That's
because
right.
the market is going to be built for council, because at the end of the day, they are the people who are going to generate what we call funds from the council. So honestly,
it's already beautiful from how you've
said,
explained
I am
it.
also trying to imagine how would Upper River look like in the next what we call 4 months.
In the next 4 months, in fact.
Yes, what we call visualizing it in the next 4 months. Because then, why I say 4 months, then all the roads and bridges in this area would have been done. And the agricultural projects and the gardens and whatsoever, and after now started swinging in, and people are now supplying goods into the market.
Very well. I think I don't have to go into what your plans will be for the coming years. I can already see that things are really falling in place. But in a nutshell, just to sum it up, what would be your final words to Gambians, especially the people of the Upper River region, in just 20 seconds?
The people of Upper River region, what I would say is, yes, development is gradual. There is no way that we can get it all. 20 years ago, 40 years ago, if you tell somebody that the Basse Fatoto Road is going to be constructed, maybe the person will tell you that, no, you are joking, it's a joke. If you tell them that there is going to be a bridge that is Basse and Kerawan, they will say it's a joke, but today is a reality. So you see, like, you cannot do everything at once. You know, development is piecemeal, it's bit by bit.
And
so
you need the
this,
cooperation
yes,
of the people.
exactly. So we need the cooperation of the people. And what I will urge the people of Upper River region is, let's try to unite, let's love each other, let's embrace each other, let's support each other, let's advise each other to make sure that at least our aspiration in taking Upper River region, you know, into another level is being realized. And this cannot happen without what we call supporting what we call the central government. The government has to be supported, you know, in one way or the other, because they are the people who are bringing these projects to us. So in as much as they are bringing the projects to us to change our lives and livelihood, we also have to appreciate what they are doing. If somebody is doing good for you, even God said it, if somebody is doing good for you, it is always important to say thank you. So these are some of the things. And then the other thing that I will also tell my TAC members is, we have to understand that we are tasked with a responsibility. Every institution in this region is tasked with a responsibility. And tomorrow we will be held responsible of anything that happens in this region negatively during our time. Therefore, it should be duty bound on each and every one of us to make sure that we dispensate our duties effectively and efficiently and on time. Because, you know, the people need it. Honestly, the time we are here, we should endeavor to change the lives and livelihood of the people of Upper River region. And I am challenging everybody as a civil servant, as an NGO, as a corporate society or whatsoever, to make sure that we all put our hands together to help develop Upper River region. This is where we see ourselves today. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. So therefore, where we serve today is where we should give to the best of our ability. And I said, I will conclude by saying, it is today that now that I know that definitely we are in the new Gambia, and we are in the new Upper River region, because of the developments that are happening here are on.
Very much. There you have it. The governor has summed it all up, and I'm pretty sure that the people are up for the challenge. Make sure you deliver on time, because the people are watching, and this is the time that you have. We're very much looking forward to the new Upper River region, and when that happens, we'll come back again to report from the people themselves. It's been great talking to you, and many thanks for having us in your residence.
Thank you, and I'm glad to.
Very much. I am Fatih Elika Moloshi, the presenter of the Open Governance Initiative. We're still on the regional consultation with the people. This is just one of the episodes we'll be bringing for you, and the subsequent ones will also come through. Many thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of our programs.